Welcome back to JP Squared Outdoors. So today I want to talk about your everyday carry knife. I'm going to have a fuller video on this later. But does what you carry say that you are cool or that you are practical? I'm going to look at all my everyday carry knives and tell you which ones I like best and which ones are more practical for everyday knife use. Okay, so today, as I said, I'm going to talk about what is your everyday carry knife. For a long time, I wanted to have an everyday carry knife that looked really cool. When I was in college, someone gave me this big old huge Smith & Wesson. It's Homeland Security Edition. It is super heavy. The pocket clip doesn't work very good. It gets snagged, and so I just quit carrying it. I mean, it is a hefty knife. And so then a couple years ago, I was at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I picked up a couple of different knives. I tried to get a different knife every year. I picked up this Buck. I don't even know like what model it is. I tried looking it up, couldn't find it. I've had it for a while, and it's a really good, just a straight drop point style knife, and it's good size, fits good in the handle, fits good in your hand. The pocket clip is good and snug in your pocket. Just a great carry knife. I quit carrying it for some reason. Instead, for a while, I decided to get a hold of a Gerber kettlebell. This knife is, while it does have a good point and it fits okay in your pocket, if you go to try to use that tip to cut something small that you just need a good fine point knife in, it is absolutely useless. It looks cool, but again, it's not always practical. And then I decided to go and get a Gerber flat iron. Now, I looked up some reviews on this, and apparently a couple years ago the EDC community was really wanting a razor style knife. Again, this thing is not very practical for everyday cutting. If you've got something that's wide open, you can stick that whole blade in there, absolutely. But if you need a tip of a knife, this thing is absolutely useless. And so then my father-in-law got a hold of quite a few different Bokers. Now, one of these, I think this one is the Boker Coyote strike point, or drop point, strike drop point. And then it's got the serrated edge, and then I have just a standard edge Boker strike drop point. These knives are awesome. I love these things. I've been carrying them as my everyday carry now for quite a while. I just go back and forth. They're interchangeable. It's got a lot of good pocket wear on it where I've wore the colors off. Anyway, I have a brown and I have a green one. They have a good lock on them. Push button assist with a lock. Excellent knives. And kind of got tired of carrying them, and so I went back to my Buck recently. Again, excellent little knife. Love it. For Christmas, some of my friends got me this Benchmade mini bug out. Now, I like this knife. This knife is the lightest of these everyday carry knives that I have, and it's a pretty good little knife. Thumb assist, open. Crazy enough, it did not keep an edge very well. I used it a few times and it got a burr in it. I think I have the burr out now after trying to sharpen it. but again, it's a good little knife. It's got a kind of a smaller pocket clip as compared. I mean, you look at the pocket clip to the Gerber flat iron, and they're almost the same size. Versus you get one of these a little bit bigger of a pocket clips on the Boker, and even the Buck has a full size pocket clip. But again, still very practical. I'm sure the bigger bug out, the full size bug out, probably the same concept as my Boker. Very practical knives. And so if you are trying to choose a practical everyday carry pocket knife, especially if you're my age or younger and you want one that has a pocket clip, I would go with something that has a standard drop point. Now you can get a decent knife from like $25-$30 all the way up to a couple $100, depending on what you want. If you want something that looks cool when you pull it out of your pocket, obviously the Gerber kettlebell or the Gerber flat iron, that's your kind of cool looking knives. They have two different colors, I think, in the Gerber flat iron. And if you want something that you can just throw at somebody without having to pull the blade out, I mean, this thing, it's huge compared to some of the other knives, and it weighs several ounces more than any of the Boker or the Buck knives, and etc. And then on Sundays, when I'm in dress pants or something that I would normally want to catch the pocket clip on a nicer pair of pants, tried and trusted, go with just a regular pocket knife. I picked this one out when I was 16 years old. It's a bone stag case. It has 4 different blades on it. It is still, and I've used it some. It's starting to get a little more dull than it used to. But when I first pulled it out of the box and started using it, see if I can do this without hurting myself. See, it's got some dust on it, but 4-bladed case knife, can't beat a good old standard pocket knife. You're going to find a lot of people will always at least have one of these. It's kind of an older generation thing to carry a pocket knife. My dad still likes to carry a pocket knife like this. Bought him a new one a few years ago, and but again, very practical knives. You got several different blade configurations. If you need a knife, you're going to have one. And people say, "Hey, do you have a pocket knife?" Well, yeah, I got a pocket knife. What do you need it for? I try to carry one, and I'm always using one of my pocket knives. So whichever it is you choose as your everyday carry, I would go with something very practical. And something that you can use, that you can get out, you can cut stuff real easily. Keep it sharp, even if you get some kind of little hand sharpener. I'm still learning how to sharpen knives really good. If you get some kind of little hand sharpener, you can at least get a decent edge on there, keep it on there, get you a leather strop too. People recommend strop your knife every night, especially if you've used it a time or two. Ain't no problem with stropping it, and you'll keep the edge on there, and you'll have something that is your everyday tool. You will always can use some kind of knife, and so that's my recommendation. Pick something practical over something flashy, even if you think you like the flashy. These are awesome to collect. Occasionally I still carry one, but when I carry it, I always need to cut something that I can never get that blade through. I can't maneuver it enough to use that blade, and so I just went back to starting carrying my drop point knives, and that's my preference. And so whatever you choose for your everyday carry, choose it for its practicality. and you'll have better success with your everyday carry knives. Hope you will subscribe to our videos, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and keep helping us get our channel going, and we will see you on the next episode.